Tennessee has not looked this good since Georgia, all the way back in week 3. For the Volunteers to drain the swamp in the manner that they did, it showcased that Tennessee is the exact team that we thought they could be at the beginning of the season. But after a couple poor performances and maybe one too many losses, some of that confidence, it started to fade. And I think maybe for some of you, it was all but gone. But the manner in which they defeated Florida in the swamp, I think should reignite some of the confidence within this Tennessee Volunteer team. Let's talk about it. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Sports Page.
Proud of our guys' preparation to give themselves a chance to come down here and win. So good night for Tennessee.
As far as the record books go, Tennessee accomplished 2 things last night within this series. Not only did they get their first win in the swamp since 2003, they also captured their first back-to-back wins since that same time, 2003-2004. And what you can credit to Tennessee's win was their week of preparation. What a night and day difference it was between what we saw against New Mexico State and what we saw against Florida. Josh Heupel was really pretty candid with us following the New Mexico State win that they kind of lost some of their competitive edge and focus throughout the week getting ready for the Aggies of New Mexico State. Well, they were absolutely focused and locked in getting ready for the Florida Gators, so much so that Joey Aguilar credited a great week of preparation leading to that dominant win over Florida. And it really does go back to the old saying where you hear coaches say, like, oh, we didn't just beat them on Saturday, we beat them the entire week. You absolutely saw that. And what does that end for with Joey Aguilar? Conducting the band, which few quarterbacks have had the honor of doing at Tennessee. And when you can get that first win in more than 2 decades, you certainly can earn that honor.
It was awesome. I felt like I was in drumline, the leader. So, but yeah, he asked me if I wanted to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. He just told me to follow the guy next to me, and I did. And it was pretty cool. It was fun.
But what we saw was not only did they have that great week of preparation, they executed perfectly in this game. And we saw that from the very first drive of this game. And that extended the next 3 drives, right? Like the first 4 drives of the game, Tennessee converted for a touchdown. And while they got their 4th touchdown in the opening minutes of the second quarter, I mean, they essentially had 28 points in 1 quarter of football. That's the exact team that, again, I think a lot of us thought Tennessee could be because they had not looked that connected and that effective since week 3 against Georgia, where they connected on 3 straight touchdown drives against the Bulldogs at home. I think losing that game and, maybe a tough game against Alabama had their confidence shook. But what was important was for them to find that confidence and then keep their foot on the gas. And that's exactly what TK and I talked about on Live Ball on Friday was Tennessee has to start fast. They have to take the fans out of it. It was a near sold-out crowd. So regardless of Florida's record, it being 3-7, Gainesville is always a tough place to play. The SEC is the toughest conference for college football. So you have to take those external quantities out of it, right? Interim head coach, a lot of injured players, 3-7. Florida is not an easy place to play. So kind of going to our conversation with TK, it was all about being able to stay aggressive in this game.
In 2015, and they broke a 63-yard reception for a touchdown. And other than Neyland Stadium, I don't think I've ever heard a stadium just be so loud.
Wow.
We had the crowd out of it, to be honest. And so that's going to be something that's really, really important is to, when we have them and when we're ahead of them, keep our foot on the gas pedal. We can't play conservatively. You've got to keep the crowd out of it because that's going to give them a huge advantage on the road.
Will Tennessee have to get away from what they've been accustomed to doing to pull out a win here, and that's being aggressive?
I think it's being aggressive and taking care of the ball as well. If you play in a conservative manner, you can't play conservatively and also turn over the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Throw just mishap interception. So for Tennessee, you either A, have to play aggressive, or if you're playing conservatively, take care of the ball.
That was the biggest key for Tennessee to win on Saturday. They were aggressive when they needed to be, and they got conservative in the second half when it was clear that their lead was not at all in danger. And when you're not turning the ball over at the same time while you're conservative, that's okay. I think for the most part, a lot of us thought the game against Florida would look how it did when the Gators took on Georgia or Ole Miss. But it ended up looking how Florida looked when they took on Kentucky, which was a bit of a surprise, but it's because of how balanced Tennessee was on offense. Like, it absolutely sucked the air out of the stadium. Like, there was no life to the fans or to the Gators sideline at all with how Tennessee started and maintained their productivity on the field. And a lot of that is because of what they were able to do on the ground with their rush attack. Deshaun Bishop absolutely having a ball in this game. The 2 touchdowns that he had diving over, the line of scrimmage, diving over the pile. I mean, he could not have had a more fun time. And it's because of that production, not only by Deshaun Bishop, but you could get Star Thomas involved too. Like, they, I think, for their explosive plays, outgained Tennessee's explosiveness through the air. And we've not seen that much this season. And it's good to see Tennessee finally truly establishing the run game like we've seen them do so many times in seasons past.
Thought they ran physical, ran hard, and finished +2, moved the pile. The goal line runs, they were physical, got some movement up front too, but they created movement all night long.
And it's clear why Deshaun had such a great time, because it was yet another 100-plus yard game for the running back. And of his 24 attempts, what I thought was most impressive was 7 of his 24 carries got to the second and third level. Now, his position coach, Jarrell Sims, has been quite complimentary of Deshaun Bishop's ability to get those dirty yards. But I think it was especially rewarding to see him be able to get those chunk plays. Not only did he have a season-high 24 carries, it was a lot more than his previous season high of 16 carries against New Mexico State. So for him not only to get those dirty yards, like a crucial 4th and 1 that started as a loss, but able to get it past the chains, he also was able to finally see some consistent reward by getting to that second and third level to get those chunk and explosive plays. And
I like the competitive edge in all 3 phases, playing smart, physical football, and playing together.
it started early for Joey. I mean, he completed 9 straight passes, I believe, and it was his 3rd pass of the game that went for a touchdown. It was Ethan Davis taking it 25 more yards to the house to get Tennessee on the board first. He also, for Joey, ended the game with 4 straight completions, and what allowed him to be so effective while not throwing for 30 or more pass attempts was because of the rushing attack, but it was also because he was so much more decisive in this game. He was able to deliver in tight windows. I don't think there was that moment of hesitance from Joey in this game. I think the confidence that we saw out of Joey early in the season, he rediscovered that this week and then against against Florida in this matchup. Beyond just the balanced attack on offense, it was also very complimentary football, which I have been begging for Tennessee to demonstrate this season, and they did that against Florida, right? They had 3 punts and a turnover on downs against the Florida Gators. Of course, one of those turnovers on downs, Tennessee converts for a touchdown as well, and part of that is something that Josh Heupel was super complimentary of after the game as well.
They love playing ball with each other, and you guys have heard me say we hadn't put all of it together at the same time yet, and after tonight I'm still going to say the same thing, but we continue to push forward and get better, and so enjoy this one on the plane ride back. It'll be early morning when we get there, and it'll be time to get ready for Thanksgiving football.
And I would imagine after this win, Tennessee, at least in the AP poll, I would imagine they move up to at least 18, right? Ole Miss moved up 1 spot after defeating Florida narrowly at home. And I think a sizable win like this at least puts Tennessee between the 16 and 18 mark, which I've been calling for the last couple of weeks after they were, I think, 25 to start. But I would not be surprised if Tennessee moves up 2-3 spots after this sizable dominant win over the Florida Gators, especially with the way that they started the game in the first half. But after the AP poll comes out later this afternoon, it's on to Vanderbilt, which, I mean, Tennessee has a chance to knock Vandy out of playoff contention if they can win at home in the regular season finale. It is going to be such an insane matchup, I believe, on Saturday. So, as Josh Heupel says, getting ready for some Thanksgiving football coming up, Thanksgiving Day football coming up. We'll have live ball with myself and VFL Todd Kelly Jr. on Friday morning to preview that matchup and maybe some inside sources from the Vanderbilt side as well. So, certainly make sure you have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any of the conversation. I'll talk to you guys later this week.